For the UMass Lowell Hockey Riverhawks, it is the Hockey East Tournament semifinals. Friday, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, UMass Lowell versus Providence College. The winner moves on to the Hockey East Championship game on Saturday. Joining us, the head coach of the Riverhawks, that is Norm Bazin. Norm, welcome.
Great to be with you, Bob.
Terrific to be with you, and I'm sure we'll get into the stresses and pressures that go along with being in a tournament, but I should start off by saying it's got to be an awful lot of fun for players, and I would imagine coaches as well.
No question. It's a thrill for the kids, especially the Garden, and getting an opportunity to play this time of year is excellent.
You, when you played here, you got to play in the Garden. I suspect there were some things you learned from that trip to the Garden and trips you've probably had to various locations as a head coach and as an assistant coach. Are there particular things you tell your team in preparation for going into what is a big, well-known building?
Well, first and foremost, I think it's important to enjoy the experience because they're experiences that don't come around very often, and you get a chance to play for a trophy, so it's an exciting time of year.
When you played at the Garden, did you take one moment, maybe at practice, to take a deep breath, look around, drink it all in, and then get that out of your system and focus on hockey?
Yeah, that's what tomorrow's for, and I don't feel that it'll be the most productive practice because there's going to be a wow factor, and that's okay. It's all part of the experience, and it's part of the Thursday night. But come Friday, we need to focus on what we have to do and focus on our game plan.
For the Riverhawks, this is, quote, a neutral site game. To me, it's a road game. I was talking with one of the players, actually a couple of players, who said it's a matter of take a road mentality. Be road warriors. Is that the approach? Be road warriors?
Yeah, it is. This time of year is also the playoff intensity factor into it. And we've been playing well on the road, and this should be no different. You have to take that mentality where you might not get a recall, and that's just part of being on the road.
I know so often during the year when you and I talk, we talk about getting better each weekend. And I suspect you want to continue to get better. But is this weekend simply about winning?
No, it's you want to win. I mean, there's a trophy at stake. There's 2 games involved, and we have just as good a chance to win that trophy as anybody else. So it's going to be exciting for our guys, and it's truthfully a great experience for those guys.
You mentioned the trophy, and I've heard other coaches talk about getting the trophy. Is that the motivation? Is that, if you will, that brass ring that we all, or golden ring maybe, that we're all grabbing for?
Well, this weekend it is, and then, hopefully next week's a different prize. But this week is down to 2 games. You've worked awfully hard all year long to be in this tournament. First, it was to be part of the 8 teams that make the playoffs. And then it was to be, part of the 4 teams that make the Garden. Now it's up to 4 teams to win 1 trophy over 2 games. So I like our odds.
There are 6 teams in Hockey East that aren't playing any more hockey at the moment. There are 4 that are. 2 will go on to Saturday. 1 will emerge with a win. What separates the winner from all the others that competed?
I'll tell you after the weekend's over. However, I feel it's consistency. Who plays, who executes their game plan the best. And there might be a little nervous energy the first 10 minutes of the first game, and that's normal. However, it's who can get over that quickly and get back to playing their style of game and play it effectively.
I know probably I've asked it before and probably asked it too many times of too many people, so I know the answer, but I think since you mentioned playing our style of hockey, let me ask, what is our style? What is UMass Lowell's style of hockey?
Well, you're going to have to watch more intensely because you've been watching our team all year long. I think it's a fast-paced, intense, aggressive style in puck pursuit and puck recovery. And I'd like to feel that we can execute as well as anybody in the country when we're on. And that'll be the goal here this weekend.
We play Providence College on Friday night. We've played them 3 times during the regular season. We've played them now. This will be the 10th game over 2 years. We know each other well. How difficult is it to be able to play Lowell hockey, play our game, against a team that knows exactly, or I imagine, thinks they know exactly what we want to do?
Well, there's a flip side to that. We know exactly what they want to do also. So playing any good team this time of year, they're trying to get you off your game plan. So it's a 2-headed coin. You have to make sure you try to execute and you try to play as hard as you can to make sure they don't execute their own game plan. So it's I feel it's going to be about the little details. It's going to be about executing at the right time, possibly special teams in the end, and certainly executing, making a play to make the difference when it's a crucial point in the game. So there's a lot of little factors that go into it. However, overall, it's playing your game and playing as effectively as possible.
Early in the year when we talked often, we liked lots of things that we had seen in games. But one of the things that you had mentioned, we needed to play 60 minutes or 65 minutes. We needed, not to take I shouldn't suggest that we took a shift off, but we were having trouble finding 65 minutes of consistency. Are we close to that? Have we, in the last couple of weekends, shown that we're there?
Well, I think we've shown many nights where we're playing 65 good minutes and 60 hopefully only. But, in a game chocked full of momentum shifts like the main games were last weekend, it's sometimes difficult to have flow to the game with all the penalties and the different calls that come your way. So you have to find a level of poise and find a level of calmness to get through those moments. And I thought we did that, and it was a very mentally taxing series for those reasons.
How much of this weekend is about how much talent one has on a roster as opposed to experience, poise, maturity, execution? Does talent sooner or later trump everything?
It can. It certainly can. However, it depends how you play the game. It's playing Providence is almost like playing ourselves. They pursue the puck. They're sound defensively. They have great goaltending, and all things that we feel we have also. And sometimes the harder you play, the more luck comes your way. And I truly feel that that's going to be the case here in this next game.
And I guess finally, you've been through playoffs at various levels as a player and as a coach. Is the one favorite playoff memory that you have?
I think our game at Michigan State was one of my favorites. It was one of those times where it's a real underdog team coming into Michigan and trying to upset the big school, and we did that, and we had to have a quick turnaround and play a team that was rested, so it wasn't ideal, but it was a great weekend of hockey, and it really was a starting point, I feel, for the program in terms of getting over the hump and knowing that we could play with anybody in the country. But that was a long time ago. This group might be better. That's yet to be determined, and it's exciting for those reasons. They were able to win the regular season championship where no other team has. So I think we've yet to find out how good this team can be.
I really had planned to have that be my last question, but you mentioned being the underdog out at Michigan State. I've talked to some players this week, and they seem to be taking the attitude that we're the underdog, and we're out to prove people that the regular season wasn't a fluke. Are we the underdog?
In some people's minds. I think when people think of the Big Four, they don't think of Lowell. So it's up to us to prove people wrong. It's up to us to prove that the regular season over 27 games was truly a big test that we passed with flying colors. So now it's another test, and that's a beautiful thing about hockey. There's always a new challenge on the horizon, and this is the next challenge.
We're ready to meet the challenge.
Absolutely.
Norm, I thank you very much for your time. I will remind people, 5 o'clock Friday afternoon, the TD Garden in Boston, UMass Lowell versus Providence. The winner advances to Saturday night's championship game. And we look forward to seeing you there, Norm. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.